What if the spiritual meaning of pooping in a dream is not really about the body, but about a warning quietly moving through your life? In many cultures, this kind of dream does not feel random at all. It lands like a dark cloud crossing a bright sky, sudden and hard to ignore. Instead of laughter, it often brings discomfort because people instinctively feel that something deeper is being shown, something that should not be brushed aside too quickly. That is why this dream can stir up fear, shame, or that strange uneasiness you cannot easily explain. It is the kind of image that makes the heart sink a little, like stepping into a room and sensing that something is off before anyone even says a word. In your culture, it may immediately be seen as bad luck, and sometimes even linked with bewitchment, hidden attacks, or spiritual pollution. The dream feels dirty because the message itself feels heavy. And when a dream carries that kind of weight, people do not usually ask, "Was it just a dream?" They ask, "What is this trying to warn me about?" That is where the meaning begins to deepen, because the discomfort is not only about the image itself, but about the possibility that something unseen is pressing in on your life. Once you understand why the dream feels so heavy, the next question is what that heaviness is actually trying to reveal. The first meaning, bad luck and repeated setbacks. Sometimes this dream feels like life itself is slipping on a wet floor. One thing goes wrong, then another, and before you know it, you are caught in a cycle of irritation, delay, and disappointment. That is why many people connect it with bad luck. It is not just about something unpleasant appearing in sleep. It can feel like a sign that your path has become noisy, messy, and harder to walk than it should be. In that sense, the dream can symbolize blocked progress. It is like trying to move forward with a heavy bag tied to your back, or trying to drive with the handbrake still on. You may be making an effort, but the result keeps stalling. People often see this as a warning that good things are being slowed down, opportunities are being delayed, or plans are not progressing as they should. The dream becomes a picture of resistance, and because this image is so raw and embarrassing, it can also touch shame, exposure, and loss of control. Nobody likes the feeling of being caught in a humiliating moment, especially when they cannot clean it up or hide it. That is why the dream can carry such a painful message. Not only that something is going wrong, but that it is going wrong in a way that makes you feel stripped bare. But in many spiritual interpretations, bad luck is only the surface level of the warning. The second meaning, bewitchment and hidden spiritual attack. Sometimes this dream is seen as more than a sign of bad luck. In a spiritual reading, it can feel like something outside you is reaching into your life, almost like a shadow slipping under the door. That is why people connect it with bewitchment or hidden spiritual interference. The dream is not just disturbing on the surface, it feels invasive, as though something unseen is trying to interrupt your peace, your steps, or your progress. That is also why envy and jealousy often get tied to this kind of dream. When people feel that others may be looking at them with hidden bitterness, the dream can seem like smoke from a fire you cannot see yet. It is the kind of warning that makes people think, maybe someone is not happy with my success. In that sense, the dream becomes a symbol of malicious energy, the way a storm cloud can gather long before the rain starts falling. And when the dream keeps coming back, or when it feels unusually strong and vivid, the warning can feel impossible to ignore. Repetition has a way of tapping on the same window again and again until you finally look up. That is why many people take recurring dreams seriously. They feel like an alarm that will not stop ringing. If the attack is not only outside you, the dream may also be exposing something inside you. The third meaning, inner pollution, secret burdens, and emotional waste. Sometimes this dream is not pointing to something outside of you at all. It can show that you have been carrying old things for too long, like wearing a coat in the heat simply because you forgot to take it off. Maybe it is pain, resentment, guilt, or memories that should have been released long ago. The dream uses a filthy image because it wants to show how heavy and unpleasant that burden has become. It is the soul's way of saying, this needs to come out. That is why shame, fear, and regret often sit behind this kind of dream symbol. They can build up quietly, almost like dirt gathering in a hidden corner of a room no one wants to clean. On the outside, everything may look fine, but inside, something feels stained, uncomfortable, and hard to face. The dream gives that invisible feeling a visible form. It turns emotional waste into a picture you cannot easily ignore, because sometimes the mind has to make pain look ugly before we finally notice it. At this point, I have to ask you something. Have you ever had a dream that felt like a warning instead of a random image? That question matters because dreams like this often carry the shape of buried emotion, not just strange sleep stories. When the hidden burden is exposed, the dream can shift from warning to message. What first looked like filth may actually be a signal that something inside you is ready to be released. The fourth meaning, a forced release before a bigger breakthrough. Sometimes a dream like this is not showing that something evil is entering your life, but that something heavy is leaving it. It can feel like the messy last stage of a storm when the rain has already started to clear the air. In that sense, the dream may point to a forced release, where a burden, habit, attachment, or toxic influence is finally being pushed out. What looks unpleasant at first may actually be a sign that change has already begun. That kind of release is rarely pretty. Losing what is toxic can feel humiliating, ugly, or unsettling before it feels peaceful. It is like emptying a room that has been cluttered for years. There's dust everywhere before there's space to breathe again. So the dream may not be saying, something is ruining you, but rather, something harmful is being removed. The discomfort is part of the clearing process, even when it does not feel that way in the moment. This is why a strange dream can sometimes mark the beginning of cleansing instead of attack. It may arrive like a rough wave, but behind that wave is movement, and behind the movement is change. What first feels dirty or embarrassing can later reveal itself as a turning point, the moment when old darkness starts losing its hold. That changes the meaning completely, because not every disturbing dream comes to destroy you. The fifth meaning, a call to watch your environment and energy. Sometimes this dream is less about the image itself and more about the atmosphere around you. It can feel like a quiet signal telling you to look again at the people and energies close to your life. Not everyone who smiles at you is standing in your corner, and not every environment is safe for your spirit. The dream may be nudging you to notice what your waking eyes have been too busy to catch, like a warning bell ringing before the smoke becomes fire. That is often how spiritual messages work. They do not always arrive dressed in something beautiful or easy to understand. Sometimes they come in ugly, uncomfortable symbols, because that is the only way they can break through denial. It is like finding a cracked mirror in a bright room. The image is disturbing, but it is trying to show you something real. The dream may be using discomfort to get your attention before a deeper problem grows stronger. That is why discernment matters so much when the same warning keeps returning. One dream can be dismissed as a strange night image, but when the message repeats, it starts to behave like footsteps outside the door. It keeps coming until you pay attention. At that point, the dream no longer feels random. It feels deliberate, like a message carrying weight and timing. And once you see the warning clearly, the dream starts to feel less random and more intentional. When you step back and look at everything together, the dream starts to feel less confusing and more like a layered message. It can carry the weight of bad luck, the fear of bewitchment, and the quiet truth of inner burdens all at once. Like a storm with different winds moving through it, each meaning overlaps with the next. What seems like a simple, uncomfortable image may actually be pointing to multiple pressures in your life, both seen and unseen. That is where your cultural understanding gives the dream its strongest voice. When you grow up knowing that certain dreams are warnings, you do not dismiss them easily. You feel them differently. The meaning becomes sharper, more serious, almost like a signal passed down through generations. It is not just about symbolism anymore, but about instinct, belief, and the sense that some dreams arrive with intention, not accident. And in the end, that is the bigger message behind it all. This is not just a dirty or random dream that you forget by morning. It is something that asks to be noticed, something that lingers because it carries weight. Whether it points to outside forces or something within you, it is still a signal. The real question is not whether the dream was unpleasant, but whether it was trying to protect you before something worse arrived.